Yeah, we are back. We are back. Yeah, we are back. We are back. We are all the way back. Yeah, it's your boy Jay Green. This is Greenroom TV. And of course, we are back to another episode of The Questions. Yeah, I got questions, man. You know I got questions. I'm on some prime time shit. I'm covering sports today, so I'm like, shit. I had to wear the authentic Mitchell and that. This ain't no play. I could stand up and show you the tag, but this is a real deal. This Mitchell and Ness. Y'all don't know nothing about that, man. But nah, check this out. I got questions. And who do I got questions about today? A lot of people, man. Kevin Durant. Uh, who else I got questions about? The Houston Rockets organization. Jalen Green. Dylan Brooks. Phoenix Suns. I said Dylan Brooks. Devin Brooks. Devin Booker. See, they gotta trade one of them dudes. But yeah, the Rockets pulled the plug, man. And the major question that's circulating on the internet now is who won the trade? I want to know who you think won the trade. That's the main thing. The main who. The main questions. I don't know which way to go with this, but I want us to collectively come together as a Green Room TV family and figure this shit out. I'm gonna say this to y'all. So when I seen this, I really like this intrigued me. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Who else is the who, man? It's a lot of who's involved in this. Uh Raphael Stone. Yeah. That's the guy who took Daryl Morey's place after, the James Harden saga went to Philly. But that's the general manager of the Houston Rockets. And I feel like, I ain't gonna lie, people gotta give him his credit because I feel like he's low key like emulating a new age blueprint of building a team that has been kind of going on in the NBA, but I feel like he's mastered it and taken it to the next level. The whole super team thing is done, man. It's done, man. Let's unpack this shit for real. Okay, I'm gonna say first, I feel like the Rockets planned this all the way back at the beginning of the season when they gave Jalen Green the 3-year extension, 35 mil a year. You know what I'm saying? He was on his last year of his rookie contract. Him and Alperen Shagun at the same time, they were both up for the extension. They gave Alperen the 185, 5 years, but they gave Jalen the like 335 million a year. You know what I'm saying? That's like 105 million. You know what I mean? And so that's also around the time that he had the baby with Drea. I don't think people think about this. Nothing against Drea, but nothing against Jalen. But I feel like when you paying niggas millions of dollars and you're trying to run an organization and you're trying to build a culture and you got a guy like Jalen Green who has all the talent in the world but shows so much inconsistency. And then like he's always at the game on some fashion stuff. His interviews, you could tell he kind of lacks personal confidence. He's kind of shy, weird, emo, kind of the painted nails. Like, and this ain't nothing wrong with that. But Jalen Green, I don't know what he'll become in the NBA. A lot of people say this is going to be kind of like when Shea went to OKC from the Clippers. He's still young. I don't know what Jalen will become. But when we look back on Jalen Green's tenure as a Houston Rockets, it's a whole lot of shit to unpack. And I feel like they was watching that shit. They got rid of Josh Christopher when they found the video of him humping him in college or AAU. That was weird. The painted nails, that was weird. He went harder and harder. That's why it was so easy for them to get rid of KPJ because them dudes was best buddies. They was on some Francis and Catino shit, some new age, long hair YN buddy shit. You know what I'm saying? But nah, look, for real though. So look, Jalen Green, and it's no disrespect, but getting the girl who's like, she's like the final boss of like the the females that navigate that life. You know what I'm saying? She could give Lala advice. You feel me? She's the final boss of that game. You know what I mean? And I feel like teams look at that. You know, every time you come into the game dressing like a goddamn superstar, but you scoring 8 points, you'll drop 38. You know what I mean? One night you'll drop 10, 5, 6. You got all the physical abilities. But I will say this: once I found out the trade was official, I made an effort to start doing more due diligence. You hear me? And so what I did was I pulled up all the Kevin Durant highlights from last year, plus all the Jalen Green highlights. So I started with the Durant highlights. No real reason. I just like, all right, he coming to my favorite team. I gotta check him out. And of course, I'm no fucking novice to this shit. I know ball for real. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, for real. I'm not one of them like fly by night bandwagon. Like, nah, I don't just do this shit for a game 7 in the bar. Nah, I love this shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm watching. I've been knowing about Durant, but sometimes you got to get a fresher course. Like you might have, like okay, let's say you might have been ace 1 in mathematics in high school. Then you have a kid and you got to help them with their homework. It's been so long, you might have to like get some wheels turning and fresh up. That's what I had to do for Kevin Durant. The only thing I found wrong with Kevin Durant's highlights was was actually nothing. His highlights were so good from last season that I immediately had to go to Google and start doing some digging. How many games did he play? What kind of injuries did he have? Um, you know what I'm saying? What was his contract? How did he get like who was he traded for? All kind of shit. And I'm like, man, I immediately started looking up stats, NBA history stats. And I always hear people like Skip Bayless say the greatest baller on the planet. I never bought into that, right? Like Durant's game a lot. Love Brooklyn. I love the Brooklyn Nets when I wish they shit would have worked. Long story short, I'm watching just the highlights from last year, right? Just the highlights from last year. Jesus Christ, this man. They call him Easy Money Sniper. The only problem I found was after I went to Google and did some digging that the man only played 62 games. He's 36 years old currently. In September, before the season starts in October, he'll be 37. And of course, Durant has injury history. But of course, in 2020, around that time or whatever, I could be wrong, but around that time, no, 2019, forgive me. Around that time, he, had the Achilles, which seems to be a common injury in the NBA now. Used to be a career-ending injury, but niggas is coming back, but it's still tragic. And so it's gonna take years off your career. And so his worst output as far as games played were the years between 2020 and 2024 when he was coming back. He didn't play at all in 2020. 2021, he came back. He's never been the type of guy to play 82 games like Jalen Green. Jalen Green is durable as shit. He gonna play all 82 games, for real. But he's still young. But KD was always around the cusp of the late 60s, 70, 75. Especially when you have a build like KD, the fact that he could play 70, 75 games is impressive, right? Just because of his build. So the only major injury he had was that. Now the main thing about KD, he gets old, but his game doesn't. He gets old, but his game doesn't. Almost like when he was 21, 20, 22, he had the game that would be perfect for an older player right now. Just the skill. He always played like that nigga that was kind of old. So the main critique is people are saying, hey, we don't think it's a good idea because the man is older. Right? He got 1 year left on his contract, but he got If shit go right, I'm assuming the Rockets gonna try to probably put 2 more years on it. So the man will be 40 when he retire. I don't see KD going the LeBron route. I'm just saying. But I'm gonna say this: last season, KD played 62 games. The year before that, KD played. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up because I was looking at it earlier today, but I don't want even. I want to talk in factual actuals, right? So check this out. All right, 2020 to 2021 season. Through the calendar year 2020, KD played no games. He came back 2021. He played 35 games in 2021, the 2020-2021 season. 2021, 2022, he played 55, right? Coming up. 2022, 2023, he only played 47, right? Okay. 2023, 2024, I believe his first season in Phoenix, he played 75 games. Took him about 3 years to get his sturdiness back after the injury. But 2023, 2024. 2024, 2025, like I said, he only played 62 games. KD's game never ages, although he does. And I'm going to tell you the main factor that's going to make or break this trade. If KD can play 60 to 65 games per year, that means he's going to miss around 15 to 20 games and be available for the playoffs. We need KD for 3 years, right? If he can do that, this trade is an A plus for the Houston Rockets. A fucking plus, man. And in those 20 games that he's out, Cam Whitmore's gonna get them runs that he been itching. Cam Whitmore look like one of them pit bulls on the chain. When I be looking at that nigga on the bench, whenever he do get a little interview, I be looking at that nigga. I be like, bro, he be looking like, he's so ready to get in the game, steal the ball, and dunk on somebody. He's so ready to shoot a three. He's so ready to mix somebody up and body somebody. Cam Whitmore, I can't really say the type of player he reminds me of, but he's a mix of a lot of players. He gives me like a little bit of Michael Redd, Carmelo Anthony, like kind of like big body athletic dudes, like dudes you don't even imagine that they are that athletic. I would say Zion, but Zion's a whole different beast. But you get what I'm saying. That's the guy who's waiting to take off because Jalen is gone. He's no longer stagnating the offense, and it's his time to shine. Now, I'm going to talk about Jalen Green real quick before I get back to Durant because I did watch his highlights. When it comes down to it, Jalen Green is not a good offensive player. If I had to, he's a good offensive player. Let me not say that. But his style of play, his body style, his athleticism, the way he moves, the way he does his thing as an offensive player reminds me most at best Lou Williams. If Lou Williams would get in the gym with Jalen Green and say, hey, look, man, you could be just like me and have a career like me, play as many years like me, but you're never going to be the first option. You're always going to be the sixth man. I feel like Jalen Green is more destined to be a great sixth man. I think the fact that he got this really, really nice hair and he looked like motherfucking Michael Jackson from Thriller, it got people, a little, they want to see Michael Jackson hooping. Like, we want to see Michael Jackson be the Thriller in basketball. It's great. You know what I'm saying? If you squint your eye a little bit, it's like looking at Jalen look like you expect him to dunk on a nigga and moonwalk, right? But nah, that ain't the case. I feel like Jalen Green, he got the opportunity he got because he was so highly ranked in high school and going out of high school. He was the number one ranked nigga. But he belongs to that G League Ignite team that was kind of blowing up when they disbanded the team and they ended it. And so now, after G League Ignite, Jalen Green made 500K for that one season that he played in G League Ignite. He could have went to college like Cade. He could have, but he chose to be a part of the G League Ignite thing that which disbanded. And I want to say this: all the players who got drafted in that G League Ignite wave ended up, how do I say, being underwhelming. Like all of them, including Jonathan Kaminga. I'm gonna have to pull up some other names. I think the best person who probably ultimately will come from G League Ignite, I could be wrong, Matas Bucelis, who plays for Chicago. I think he did play for G League Ignite, but I think he'll be the best one. But there was another a center who they drafted, Todd Lynn or some shit like that. I don't know. But Jalen Green ultimately is overrated. But he has all the talent to be top player. Never made an all-star game, never misses a game, plays all 82, but paints his nails. Is very soft-spoken in the interviews. He nuts up when it comes to the playoffs when we need him. Your leading scorer on the team. Leading scorer on the team. I think Jalen Green got so many touches and the team was so well constructed through the draft, because that's the secret of how the NBA goes. You got to build through the draft. No more super team shit. The team was so well constructed and so well coached and patiently put together. He had the most touches, but when I watched his highlights, he takes 10 seconds off the clock every time. He can't cook. All his highlights was dunks, fast breaks, alley-oops, and then creating offense is no creation. It's dribbling, 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 get a screen, and step back, pull up. All he got was a step back, three, step back, get a screen, take the shot. Like, he'll dribble 14 times and wait for the screen and then come around the screen and then pull that motherfucker. That's what he do every time, and he got a step back. But the crazy thing is he got a crazy nice step back. I never seen nobody create as much space with a step back as Jalen Green. Okay? Now, let's get back to KD. Easy money sniper. If KD plays 60, here's the thing about KD. When I watch them highlights, I hear people say it, but he literally is the greatest scorer of all time. If he could play 3 more years in the NBA, right, and play 60 games per year and still have the same score, because ability ain't going nowhere, but still have the same skills, he will pass Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. If I already did the math. Y'all could do the math. Go look him up on Google, how many points. He's currently like number 8, 9, 10 or something. He's like either 8, 9, or 10. No, matter of fact, I think he's like number 9 or 10. And he's behind Wilt Chamberlain, right? And I believe he played less games than Wilt. However, I know the person ahead of him is Nowitzki. And Nowitzki's like 200 points ahead of him. I did the math. If KD plays 3 more seasons and plays 60 games per season, he'll pass Nowitzki, Jordan, Kobe, and ultimately level out behind Karl Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and LeBron James. KD is the best scorer. He's a walking bucket. And he's exactly what the Rockets needed. But in him being what the Rockets need, the Rockets also need a prayer. Because they have a guy who inspired Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's favorite player growing up, and that guy's name is Tracy McGrady. The Rockets have a history of trading for players when they get old and trading a lot for them, and they come here and they bust. I like the fact that this trade was fair and we kept all our young assets. I don't know, when around the time when I really, really became a Rockets fan is when Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming. But the person who really made me a Rockets fan was Steve Francis, straight out of Maryland. Love that nigga, man. Steve Francis was the guy. After Steve Francis was traded, Steve and Coutinho was traded for T Mac. This trade, even though KPJ wasn't a part of it, I told you earlier, KPJ and Coutinho was like the buddies, and he left. They left at separate times, but it kind of reminds me, right, uh, of the same shit. Steve Francis and Coutinho Mobley's careers were never the same after they got traded. Coutinho had a better career, and he became a very good longevity role player, plus a guy who could get you a bucket at any time. Very talented player. He looks weird now with the tattooed hairline and the spray paint and the gray beard. I ain't hating, but Coutinho was that guy, straight out of Philly, Rhode Island, played with uh, Lamar Odom in college at Rhode Island. Coutinho's career ended up being better than Steve's career, right? Um, in the but what I will say this is that this trade reminds me of T Mac coming to Houston with Yao Ming, with Alperen Şengün, right? With all these shits. Alperen Şengün was an all-star last year. That team was supposed to do exactly what this team is supposed to do. The biggest question, I got questions, is what? What is supposed to happen next after this? And after this, they need to be competing with the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, and the OKC Thunder. And maybe San Antonio when they finally come up. But they on their way. but, look at this. This shit is very similar. Also, the West is wide open right now. If y'all ain't know, the West is wide open. Now, T Mac came to Houston, traded for Francis. Like back then, the trades was different than they are now. The Rockets did a great job of keeping most of their young core and getting rid of Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. Even though Dylan Brooks, I feel like was a great veteran leadership and a great culture piece, I also feel like when the Rockets gave Jalen Green that 35 mil a year and Dylan was making 20 mil a year, I believe they gave Jalen that 35 knowing that if this NIGGA don't produce, 35 plus 20 is 55. And KD makes 55 million a year. And when you trade players, you got to match salaries, right? I feel like the Rockets knew that from the jump. All right. Now, when T Mac got to the Rockets, T Mac had a bad back all of a sudden. The worst vision of T Mac as a Rockets fan is going to the game or watching the game on television and seeing this nigga laying on a sideline with a heating pad on his back because T Mac's back was bad. T back, right? That was the saddest thing. T Mac was one of the greatest. At one point, he was better than Kobe. But the way T Mac went out was sad, man. And the whole T Mac and Yao Ming thing, skills wise, that was the duo. That was the greatest duo skills wise. Nobody could touch that, man. Yao Ming had it all, man. He was the truth. He was nice. And T Mac was T Mac. But his back was bad. Anyhow, Kevin Durant comes to Houston, Texas, and repeats a T Mac situation. The Rockets need to do some real like inventory of themselves as a franchise historically. Anyhow, Kevin Durant comes to Houston on some T Mac shit. This is a L for the Houston Rockets. It's up in the air. But I do feel like Kevin Durant has something that T Mac doesn't have. The way he moves as a person, Kevin Durant moves to the his own beat of his own drum, right? He's a real hooper. He don't dress nice. He's locked in. He's never getting married. His mother is the real MVP. He's getting money, right? He don't care about the ball spot, right? Kevin Durant is that guy. Kevin Durant possesses the greatest offensive skill set ever in the NBA. And he plays hard defense. And even if you're quick enough to beat him, his arms are long enough, he's tall enough. Kevin Durant is that guy, man. Even Michael Jordan said it. And he knows that. That's why his whole career has been dictating where he wants to go. He knows that you guys want this motherfucking gunner. Y'all want this easy money sniper. You know this shit is, you ain't gonna get this 7 feet slinging that motherfucking thing, man. Pause. All right, now look. If he comes like on some T-Mac shit, a lot of people say Ime Udoka facilitated this trade because they have a relationship. They have a relationship from when Ime Udoka was an assistant coach in Brooklyn. And one of the assistant coaches on Ime's staff is Royal Ivy, a former player as well, who was also a part of the assistant coaching staff in Brooklyn. So there are a lot of nuances and minutia to unpack. I feel like this thing has been in the works for a while. And if so, I feel like the Houston Rockets and Raphael Stone have done a masterful job. I do feel like the Rockets won this, right? They did a great job of building up from the bottom. Shout out to Fred VanVleet. Shout out to Dylan Brooks, what he put in. Shout out to the whole team. The way they draft, it's great. My favorite player in the NBA right now is Amen Thompson. He just can't shoot for shit. If he gets a shot, he's the GOAT. I can't wait to see what he does. But what he has is something that Jalen Green don't have. If Tyler Hero put his hands on me too much, I'm slamming you to the ground. If you go back and watch the Amen Thompson scuffle highlights, he don't box, no niggas. As soon as you get a little out of line, he grab you, throw you to the ground. He sling you to the ground. He's a strong, athletic motherfucker, and they don't think so because he's kind of cool, right? Until he gets on that court. And he representing Jamaica, possibly in the upcoming. Shots out to my yard man them. All right, so look, the Rockets have it all. Let's talk about this starting lineup, man. Let's talk about this starting lineup. The starting lineup for the Houston Rockets is going to be projected Alperen Şengün, all-star at 22 years old last season. Also, Alperen at center. I'm thinking about Steve Adams. They just resigned. Aquaman. That's a great re-signing. All right. At power forward, Jabari Smith Jr. Second favorite play on the Rockets. Character-wise and versatility, I feel like him being around Durant is going to make him better. But do not look for Durant to be the leader in the locker room. That's not his personality. That's what Fred VanVleet is for. That's what Fred and Dylan was. Now, Durant's going to lead by example. He's not coming to the game with suspenders and flare pants, trying to do the walk down the runway. He's coming through the back cave. Who knows what the fuck he wore to the game? But he's coming to fucking hoop. That's what he's doing. Who he might have fucking came in a goddamn bathrobe. Who knows? But one thing for sure is that the nigga wears dirty shoes. And that's because he's filthy fucking rich. He might have wore a goddamn Dickie suit, some pajamas coming through this motherfucker. But one thing is for certain, he coming through with that goddamn ratchet. He pulling up on you and he splashing that motherfucker. Kevin Durant is really like that. Go watch the highlights from last year. It took him a couple years to get back. I feel like Rockets may have gotten Kevin Durant at the right time. However, I pray it's not the wrong time. I pray he's not on no T-Mac shit. Because you remember how nice T-Mac was with Orlando? But there is one thing we do have to talk about. Kevin Durant has history. History of going to teams and fucking them up, man. However, he's always been balling. He's always dropped, and it makes it look easy, man. I just pray he doesn't fuck up the Rockets. I feel like the Rockets have so much in place. Like if he does fuck up, he's only on a 1 year contract, and you just lose Galen Green. You know what I'm saying? And Dylan Brooks. But Dylan Brooks is gonna go eventually because he's getting older and he's really just a role player. But he plays with heart, and he helped build the culture in Houston. And I feel like that is gonna remain within the locker room, right? Let's talk about Fred Van Vliet, who's going to be the real leader of this team. I see a lot of Fred Van Vliet slander online because he's short and he's not. They feel like, man, Fred Van Vliet is the most consistent player the Rockets have had in the past 2 seasons. And he's the real reason why they're playing like a team. He's a goddamn point guard, right? And then he's like the coach off court, and he got that. He kind of got the same glare in his eyes like motherfucking E may be having. Sometimes you look at Fred and Fred just look like crazy. Like, man, fuck this shit. Right? Right? And so Fred is a champion. I want to let everybody know that Kevin Durant is not going to come through and be a leader. He's not going to be social. He's not going to be leading the thing. He's coming through to drop motherfucking buckets and play defense if you can, if your legs still work, right? The Rockets' goal is to keep Kevin Durant until the age of 40, right? But you're on a 1 year contract, okay? We just gave up our first major draft pick after James Harden, right? That was our first major move after the James Harden strip club era was Jalen Green, and he plays the same position that James Harden played. Is he as good as James Harden? Hell the fuck no, right? Um, I'm just interested to see what Jalen's gonna become. You know what I'm saying? Durant still got defense. Jalen Brooks, I said Jalen Brooks. Dylan Brooks, I feel like is gonna help Phoenix out as far as their culture because they're literally about to go through one of the roughest rebuilds ever. Because the Rockets still got y'all picks. The Rockets traded Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and the 10th pick, which is really y'all's pick, because the Rockets had 52 games. They pick it was supposed to be way later, right? The 10th pick back to you, but the Rockets still have the picks for 2027, 2020, I said 20. The Rockets still have the picks for 2027 and 2029, which belong to Phoenix. And I think Phoenix will be a worse team within the next 3 years. They currently have a starting lineup. I forget the center's name, but the Jamaican dude at the power forward spot, they're going to have Nunn, which was a great rookie last year. At the 3, Bradley Beal. At the 2, Jalen Green. And at the 1, Devin Booker. They got 3 of the same player. The only one who's a standout is Devin Booker. Free Book, trade him and the Impala somewhere, and y'all can get mad shit back because he's about to be 30 in about a year or two. Or they keep Book, and Book gets that 70 million a year, keep the fat ass house. And I kind of think Book might stay and say, fuck it, man. Just get the money. You know what I'm saying? He paid his dues. He went to championship, everything, all of that shit. But you know it is what it is, man. What's next? That's the major question. What's next for the Rockets? Will they be title contenders next year in the West? That's the major question. I think yes, if KD played at 60, man. If he played at 60 and showed me he got something left in the tank, oh yeah. Because I feel like currently this is the most perfectly constructed roster in the league. They have the best backups. Reed Shepard is finally about to get some burn. He got that ratchet with him. Cam Whitmore about to get the burn. Tari Eason is ready to go. Steven Adams, Aquaman, is ready to go. He ready to set a screen on your mama bitch ass, knock her over. You feel me? And it's good to go. I feel like the Rockets have the perfect mix. Are they still missing one piece though? In the comments section, let me know. Do you feel like they're still missing a piece, or do they have everything they need? They're not getting a draft pick this year. They get mad draft picks. They have 5 first-round draft picks over the next 3 years, though. Think about that. Um, when? When will we know? 30 games into the season, we will know how this shit goes. Will it be another T Mac bad back situation? I hope and I pray not, man. Will they be title contenders? I think so. And like I said earlier, the only people that's really uh competing with them is Denver, OKC, of course, um, and the Timberwolves as far as the Western Conference goes. But it's a whole new NBA now. Things are different now. The last 9 years, I believe, it's been a new champion every year. This is the first time in NBA history ever. And so it's like there's no dynasties. But speaking of dynasties, if it does work with the Rockets, that means the Rockets officially have a window. They have a window. The window is 4 years, I believe. I believe the way things are structured now, they'll be able to re-sign Jabari next year, re-sign Tari. They'll be able to take Reed and Cam through the motions. And the crazy thing is, I feel like Cam gonna give you everything Jalen could give you, minus the manicures, minus the French tips. You feel me? And I love that for the Rockets. And Cam, Cam right now is sitting like Birdman, rubbing his hands like, yeah, I knew it. Just had to get this nigga out the way, and I can't wait to see what's going on. But do they need one more piece? If they do need one more piece, you know who's an unrestricted free agent who only made $2 million last year, and anybody could grab him for the low? That's Bobo. Bol, the son of Manute Bol, right? Anybody could grab him for the low. So you ain't gotta pay him but like 5, 10, maybe, whatever. But that would be crazy if the Rockets did that, because that'd almost be like getting Bobo in the trade, and that would make it even more of a W. But you know where I really feel like Bobo should go? I think it would be, even though it's a contender to my team, I think Bobo should go to the San Antonio Spurs alongside Wemby and be Wemby's backup. That way the two of them could get together, get some African like mojo going up, and really like come together and like solidify their archetype. You know what I mean? I think that would be crazy. They could learn from each other and they could identify with one another. I think that would be the ultimate. Stop, like, yeah. But back to the Rockets, man. Um, where? That's a good question. Where will the championship be? I think it's gonna be in the West next year. Definitely gonna be in the where in the West. Um, why? Why are we even talking about this when Donald Trump is blowing the whole world up? Because sports eases our mind. And if you're from a certain town or you root for a certain town or you got connection, you love to see victory in your geography. You know what I'm saying? Um, one of my biggest takeaways from this is I really, really hope that Reed Shepard and Cam Whitmore get to show what they got. And I think ultimately, Cam is going to take Jalen's spot. Reed is going to take um, Fred's spot. And I just think the Rockets have so many picks. I think they're going to be always be able to retool. They're not going to be like Boston. They're not going to be like Golden State. They're not going to be like the Nuggets. The Nuggets won the championship. They had the best player in the league, the two-time MVP. But every season after that, they lost somebody to free agency. They lost their depth. They lost Jeff Green. They lost Bones Highland. They lost Bruce Brown. They lost Contavious Caldwell Pope. And I don't think they put enough stock into keeping, but I also don't think they knew Jokic was going to be that good. So they wasn't prepared. But the Rockets is on a different path. They're building through the draft and they're constantly retooling, and they will not turn their back on youth. And if they're going to have veterans, they're going to bring in one or two at a time. You know what I'm saying? They're preparing for Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, Reed Shepard, Cam Whitmore, They're prepared for these guys to become stars. But not only are they prepared for them to become stars, they're prepared financially. And they're prepared with leadership. They're always going to have the right mix of veterans. And they're going to keep the veteran on the hook for 2 years, 3 years. But they're always going to build through the draft, which is the way to go. The NBA is wide open right now. And we got a lot of shit to talk about how much the NBA has changed. That'll probably be in my next videos. But you know what I'm saying? We talked about the starting lineups. Um, there's a new champ every year. The window. The Rockets got to capitalize now. I hope and pray that that he's not on no T-Mac bad back shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And when he does get his extension, if it goes good, he's gonna get 120 million for the next 2 years before he retires. Hopefully he'll retire here. This will be the last stop, and you won't go hijack somebody else's team with some more fuckery. But the Rockets are so smart about always committing to the young core and being flexible with proven veterans and team-friendly deals. That's the way to go. I'm going to end this by saying who's the top 7 players in the league. Who is the top 7? I'm going to say no particular order, right? Everybody say top 5. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Anthony Edwards, Jokic, Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant. How much was that? Kevin Durant, Giannis, Ant-Man, Brunson, Jokic, Luka, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. No order. If I'm wrong and y'all think I'm wrong and I'm missing somebody, let me know if I need to run it to the 8. But let's just stay to the 7. And that's about it right now. Yeah, I'm signing off, man. I think I hit all points. I always got questions, and you know we come together as a family and we get these answers. Yeah. Greenroom TV.